always have first move here. Adam fighting just for a bit of control war control. Nice arrow. Huge long range chain DC is there. Mikyx should just be dead. Ulti from Sheo.
Look up, double knock up, double knock up. Varus, knockless.
Look around.
Go no, flash.
I'm ready, buddy. He dead. Wanna press it? Yeah, we go Nash.
By the targets and they take them down. Caps trying to split their attention. The arrow still connecting for Ice. Dominance, the name of the game here for BDS.
BDS, I was not familiar with your game. Wow. We saw Nuke's parents there. Nisqy was sharing a fun little anecdote how they were actually here last when BDS played a best of 5 and it didn't go well.
Yeah, it was big when I was in MAD, and then we reversed to BDS. And when they were 2-0 up, Nuke's dad looked at me, he did like the 2-0 thing. And then I showed him 3-2. And then when it was 2-0, I looked at him and he didn't look at me. And then only one I looked and he still didn't look at me. So quick funny moment.
Hopefully a better time for him today. Now let's talk about BDS in this first game. Eragon, I think we were all a little bit surprised, right? Because some of the things that we criticized them for, I'll just say, like yesterday, how Sheo gonna do? How are the pigs going to do? How is Nuke gonna do versus Caps? How are they gonna do in the late game? It all went swimmingly.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really great as well because in my eyes, they get outscaled a little bit here too versus all the range that G2 actually have. You have the Rumble ult you can throw onto a bunch of immobile carries, especially with that CC to line it up. It's beautiful alongside the Corki rockets and what have you. So I'm really surprised in the late game and the mid game team fights, that's where they come online.
What about the drafts? What did you make of them?
I mean, I feel like leaving Rumble is usually a mistake.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't feel like BDS draft into Rumble was necessarily good. But the picks I didn't like on the G2 side is the Varus. I feel like Varus has no spot in this game. He has no range. He's against Zyra, Lucian, Ashe, Ornn. Like, I don't see what he can do in this game. And I think Mikyx had a roughy game as well. Same for Yike. But,
yeah. I mean, we were talking about that, right? I think the front line in Mikyx and Yike had a couple of issues when it came to the mid game. It felt like they would get constantly CC'd and then chain CC'd and then die. Mikyx dying a few times before getting his W off, but there really wasn't that much counterplay. It was incredibly hard to play frontline in this game. And to the Varus point, I think we both came into agreement that this is just not Hans's meta. It feels like who else is playing Varus AD carry? He doesn't play the Zeri, so that option wasn't there as an option, and it feels really difficult.
It is definitely something to track because it's things that we've said in the past, right, when it comes to the bot lane of G2, so we'll see how it evolves in this best of 5. I do want to take a look at a couple of fights. The first one, even though it isn't that relevant if you look at the end of the game, but what a way to start a series!
Yeah, I mean, here both teams wants the Drake and both teams wants to fight because if G2 doesn't get this Drake and BDS gets it, then BDS can snowball. And if G2 gets the Drake, then then G2 can kind of like scale into the game. And what's funny here is that both top laners just ran from top to bot.
It's the Adam classic, right?
Yeah, and in the end, it was a good play for G2 because Caps got the 2 kills, and I believe BB maybe got some as well.
Yeah.
Compared to where for BDS it was only on Ashe and Ornn. So
yeah,
this was kind of winning for G2. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to agree. And then from this spot, because of how G2 outscale, you would assume like trading evenly actually just favors them. But then it came down to the Baron dances and so on. It was really rough.
Yeah, I think this is where we should talk about and where I really want to credit BDS specifically, right? Because Nuke knows this matchup really, really well versus Corki. He was holding his own really well, but then all of a sudden Corki comes back with 2 kills and a lot of gold. But then BDS, they take matters into their own hands here.
Yeah, I mean, here, for example, I'm not sure what Yike is doing on the top side of the map. Like he gets caught and then it's just a snowball. And here I think Sheo's flash was really great. Yeah. And I have to say, I think if G2 wants to actually pressure and win early game, they have to ban Lucian and Zyra or trade them.
Yeah, Zyra, you were saying you think that's Sheo's best champion. It is his most played champion so far this playoffs, clearing absolutely everything, even the tanks that we normally associate Sheo with and the Taliyah. I completely agree with you. I think Lucian and Caps, it was such a skill matchup. You see both mid laners dodging every single skill shot, but every single time it was actually Lucian coming out on top in terms of Nuke. And even when they had so much attention, early skirmishes going towards mid lane with the support roams from Mikyx, Nuke then kept coming out on top in terms of the team fights.
Yeah, it was, I think, in Nuke's favor in this game. And you were saying, oh, BDS was outside, they were having snacks. G2 was inside. they were having that talk. I also want to take a look at the Baron Seal just because I think they're awesome and it's nice to give Sheo some credit. And I think overall, been very impressed with Sheo Nisqy this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, here, like Labrov gets caught and then Ice also dies. And this is where BDS decides to like try to 3v5 for the Nash. And I think the problem of G2's comp here is that no one can really zone Zyra. So Zyra can just walk freely into the pit and just 50-50 on Nash when they're like 2 people down. And in the end, I believe Mauka even dies here. and only Sheo dies with its whatever, and then I think this is where BDS just wins the game in my opinion.
It's really surprising because you'd assume that Mikyx Q smite normally outsmites most things, but Zyra was able to just walk through unstopped, and then, like you were saying, Nuke managed to kill Yike at the end of it. Yeah, just another flip that goes the way of BDS.
Yeah, and I think overall, great play from BDS at different stages of this game. Also, you were saying something about itemization of Sheo specifically, how it's something that not maybe many people notice.
Yeah, I think Sheo, when he plays the Zyra, and like usually when you play against the Zyra, you have an Ashe or a Leona or a Rumble ult or like a Varus ult, but Sheo always buys Verdant Barrier, which is like a mini Banshee, so he can always just dodge or like tank one ability. And I think in this game it was very important because one Varus ult lands, you're dead, one Leona ult, you're dead, Maokai ult, same. And he plays this like Mercs Zyra, like kind of tanky, but not really still do damage. And I think he figured the code to Zyra, because I believe in the LEC at least, Zyra doesn't really win, and also in LCK except Canyon. So I think these are the two players, I guess, that can make the champion work.
My biggest question is now what happens to the Rumble prior? Because they've lost with it. I wonder if this is going to be one of the first series where we don't actually see the Rumble, even though it goes through. Usually what you see is teams will lose to it, and they'll be like, okay, we can't actually minimize the losses in terms of the Ornn pick, and we just start banning it afterwards and give up. I wonder if we just don't see Rumble anymore, or G2 actually has to ban it because they don't want to take it anymore.
I would say, I think usually when you lose on a champ, you don't really want to pick it again, but I feel like Rumble is like very like specific, because I think this champ is really OP. And now they're like, okay, I guess we tried Rumble, but it didn't work, so we'll just ban it. Maybe they want to go into like a different meta, right? Also, BDS banned Azir last game. I'm not sure if they're going to do it again. But for me, it will depend on what Hans will play and also what BB will play, because I think getting counter pick on BB is very important. And right now with these bans, I believe Renekton top would be the pick, but BB has the Varus prepared into it, so I don't think BDS will pick it.
It's still possible.
Braum ban 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is weird.
Immediate Leona lock-in vibes.
I guess they do want Leona and like a dive comp.
Yeah, it can be even a one pick we've seen in the LPL very often. I mean, it really depends. You can always take the Alistar into it if you're Labrov. The Rel target banned away, immediate.
Tristana, Sejuani, last time it was Azir ban for the Lucian 1-2. So let's see, okay. So I think G2 might first pick Lucian or Zyra. I would, that's what I would do.
As a denial.
As a denial, because I don't think you should
give... Have we seen Yike clearly? Yeah.
So Zyra first pick, so here I believe BDS should pick Lucian away. I think the Lucian Zyra is very, very strong.
I will say, something else that Caps did love is the Ezreal, so maybe we can see it denied as well. They like to flex that before, and Caps was really good on it, almost winning out in the previous series.
And this is now, I don't think he's gonna lock Nidalee yet. I think he's just gonna wait to see what enemy team mid lane picks, or he just looks the jungler. But I feel like Lucian is the highest prior mid right now. So I think Caps would probably just play Ezreal.
I think Caps was doing fine. He was 4-0 1 point last game. I think he just locks the Corki again, right? Or the, I mean, I suppose he could do the Ezreal as a refresher.
Yeah, the
also
problem
synergizes with poke. With
the problem with the Corki is that you lose lane for Lucian, but with Ezreal you can actually win lane, and usually the Zyra side of that is very favored. So like here, if they lock Ezreal Zyra on the left, I believe they will have the mid jungle winning. Compared to if he locks the Corki, then he has the winning jungler, but Corki loses lane, so it doesn't get that much value out of the Zyra. So I think they should probably lock Ezreal here, is my opinion.
And there's a Nautilus locked in with the Braum setup ban, right? On the other side now you can match in terms of engage if you want to go Leona, or Nautilus, you can go Alistar into it.
Nautilus Zyra is a really strong combo. Also Nautilus into the AD carries is really, really good, especially when like Braum and Rel are banned. So I think, okay, they will drop Caps to 4-5. Could also be an MF mid.
This is a nutty combo, right? Misfortune AoE with the Zyra. In terms of teamfights in any kind of choke, it's really, really painful. But MF mid, you say?
Add an Amumu and...
Yeah, that's
do you remember
the
that
old school
combo?
Bronzodio.
I mean
the curse of the sad mummy.
The MF mid can work into Lucian, because I actually believe MF just beats Lucian like straight up.
Do you see Chovy go Draven mid?
Yeah,
it's a similar idea.
Yeah, basically it's like whatever you can get to get mid prior, you just pick it. And I think it's possibly an MF flex, but I assume it goes bot lane. And the problem is that if you ban Ezreal and Corki, I'm not sure what Caps can play. That's AD, probably like a Zeri maybe. Or Varus, something like that. But I would assume BDS should ban Corki and Ezreal here.
Yeah.
And then what does G2 want to ban? Maybe like Nidalee? Brand?
Any AP junglers? The question is, I mean, Maokai's still open for Sheo. Taliyah jungle was something they prioritized, but I think is terrible.
The problem is that I don't like the Maokai kind of into the Zyra. If you have the stronger mid, I feel like you want to pick like a Brand or a Lilia or like a Nidalee that can actually match the Zyra. I feel like if they pick Maokai, they'll be on the back end the whole game. Olaf ban indicates probably like a Renekton, possibly, or BB.
Yeah, or a blind Cassante.
Or a Cassante blind,
Sometimes with these kinds of picks, you know, you could just isolate the scale and become too much. Potentially an Ornn as well, I think is an answer. As a setup ban for the Olaf.
I think TF is really good for G2 here. I think it's really good into like double AD carry meta. Pretty decent to Alistar as well. Also adds another layer of CC for the left team. Near Corki is up, so I think Caps would probably just play Corki again.
Yeah, they're not convinced MF is bot lane. They're banning out AD carries.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe the Varus mid was something they were looking at.
I think they pro ban the Varus mid and top.
Yeah,
maybe they just 4-pick Renekton here, is my guess.
Sheo and Italy ban.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that. So you think Brand now?
I think Brand.
I think
is
Lilia might be
sure.
outranged a little bit too hard.
Yeah, I feel like this must be Brand. Okay, I have a problem with the Renekton now is that I feel like if they lock Cassante on the left, I don't think Brand is enough to kill Cassante. And triple AD into Cassante is really hard in my opinion. And I feel like BB on Cassante in the Renekton matchup with the Zyra, like the winning jungler side, I feel like they are very, very happy to play this.
Yeah.
Even like a Malphite or so, like anything that's like very tanky. Yeah, Ornn.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Ornn, a really solid matchup, and then there's the Corki.
Yeah.
They didn't actually pinch the Corki, they pinched the Varus instead, so that goes through. And then we've seen Handsama on MF before, so it's not going to go towards mid, and he's going to take it into the Ashe matchup.
Oh, you hate
Oh,
to
the
see it, but
Taliyah.
it's still there, guys.
But at least they have the Renekton Taliyah duo. That's always really, really nice. You can make plays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to make onto Ornn.
It's comfort, but...
Ooh, I think this game, I feel like BB will actually smurf very hard. I feel like this champ is so OP into like their 4 carries. I actually don't like Taliyah this drop because I feel like she's very out-ranged. Also, I feel like with Lucian, it's fine, right? If you have like setup on top and bot, but I feel like into an Ornn, it's not very good. Into MF, not very good either. So I think G2 won this draft for sure.
Okay, maybe BDS threw away their draft in the last 2 picks. Who knows? Let's head over to our casters and find out.
Maybe, dang, those are strong words. We'll have to find out how good the Taliyah is, because I'm notoriously skeptical about the Taliyah. GB and I discussed it yesterday. The brand does a lot more. Taliyah, of course, though, much more proactive playmaking. This level 6 the wall. We'll see if it is enough. G2, though, coming into this game, too, have simplified their composition. They press R real good, and really with 4 champions.
To be fair, their previous comp was also press R and hit the enemy team. But the difference is, there's not a Zyra getting in their way this time.
Yes. And also, circles. When in doubt, play the champions with circle ults. If you play a line alt champion excluding Ornn, harder, skill intensive. Circles, throw it down, see what happens.
And I will say, I'm honestly surprised. There's literally a whole game called Plants vs. Zombies, so the fact that we're not seeing more Brand jungle as an answer to Zyra is frankly shocking.
Well, shout out to the brands of our league for picking the zombie skin when they do play against Zyra.
And especially because of Leona that powers the sun for the plants. It's just wonderful.
Crazy.
Here we are, game 2. We're going to learn a lot more about G2's preparation coming into this week. BDS came out swinging in game 1. We'll also learn more about plants and zombies, maybe. Probably not, though. Of course, are you a master of the Rift? Question mark. Do you never miss a game? You better not. Santander is here to reward you. Head over to santandergaming.com to win weekly and monthly rewards like Hex Tech chests and skins. This week's code is Herald35. Herald35, baby. 35.
You know, now, being reminded of that sunflower thing, it reminds me of all of the secret passives that exist in the game. For example, because there's a lot of League fans that probably don't know about them, and I'd like to think that they still exist. But there are... Hang on, Mikyx might be in some danger here, so I might have to cut myself off. I think slowed. Vision going to be invested by BDS as well.
Ansama over the wall. Ooh.
That's a double up.
Yep, that's a nice little bit of early MF damage. A little love tap passive and double up, as you mentioned. But Yike now getting bullied off. This feels...
Sheo is literally like, remember me? Because you did this to me.
It's like time to learn some empathy, baby.
Wow, he is being extremely obnoxious. Ice wants to get back to the bot wave farm. Yike has lost 50% of his HP. No Cap has actually died yet.
I don't play enough Pokemon, dude. Does rock type beat plant type? Is that how that works?
Truthfully, I don't know.
Plant beats rock.
What if the plant is also a zombie, guys? This Zyra skin raises a lot of questions.
That's next gen.
That's next gen.
The
Okay, got
Alistar
it.
flank.
Oh, the smite. Oh, but it's the exact reverse, but this time they're getting a kill. That's clean for BDS. Frankly, Yike, greedy to be there for as long as he is, and now it's going to cost him pretty heavily.
He went for the smite fight, and he ended up losing it. Sheo gets the level 2. and he also finds himself a kill. Nice flank from Labrov. He's not going to commit to the red buff, though.
And credit to Sheo, he won both Baron smites in the previous game. He's lost one smite fight thus far in the series, and it was around his red buff at level 1 from Mike's Yike's Maokai. So you mentioned revenge there in the mid lane. Caps once again getting low here in the early levels. See if G2 can get pressure elsewhere. Broken Blade not as favored in the early matchup, and Adam really trying to punish his. Caps goes all in onto Nuke. Nuke now trying to fire back one auto. No!
He tried to flash away from Mickey's flash, but just couldn't quite get away from the Nautilus and ends up going down despite the flash.
Meanwhile, Adam got a solo kill top lane. Like, blood is happening across the map right now. I hope we get a replay to see what happened top as well as what happened in mid. But Mikyx with a nice flash to secure that last hit onto Nuke to keep Caps alive.
I will take a look back at this one, of course, because we missed out on it. We saw the initial start, but Conqueror stacked.
He just rolls it.
Adam walking in, has cooldowns. Ooh, the casual flash in! That's a good poker face. He walks away, because if Broken Blade proactively flashes, nothing happens there. But obviously, once the auto is started, the flash is not going to save you.
Honestly, I think he was doing that, you know, the calculating meme, because the pot had come through from Broken Blade, and so he probably questioned, will my auto attack actually do enough? And then he decided, oh yeah, it will. Flash got the auto. Nice stuff there from Adam.
It was also just one auto before he went underneath the tower to get the Fury that he needed to hit 50 to get the empowered Q as well to get the extra damage. So really nicely timed there by Adam to get everything off to get that kill. And now, I mean, your Croc's ahead, your Jungler's ahead. Mid lane, the kill went to the Nautilus. So in the grand scheme of things, it's just a great early start for BDS.
And even that mid lane play was dangerously close to going awry. And the worst kind of thing for G2 as well is because it was such a slim margin, Mikyx really has to take the kill there. He can't wait for damage, right? He just needs to burn all of his spells and hope that they come out on top. So the gold not ideally placed, dead even in the mid lane when Caps really should have a bit of a gold lead. That said, Cole picked up early on for Nuke. We'll start to get a little bit more income as well as a little bit more sustained. Tier for the Corki not going to be too surprising as Mikyx caught out. Hexbot coming in from Labrov. Really difficult for him to escape this one. Nice body block from Labrov. Additional stun follow-up. Flick back there. The seismic shove. Mikyx slowly getting whittled down. And you know what? I take it back. Taliyah, great champion. Does a lot of work in the early game.
BDS are playing incredibly well off their pushing lanes. Like, you've got control over mid with Nuke on the Lucian. You had the move there for Labrov on the bottom side to help out. Like, this is just really well orchestrated in the early game by BDS.
And credit to Labrov. The way that he and Sheo are linking up is great to see because, again, coming into the match yesterday, we talked a lot about how when Rel wasn't in the picture, Labrov was looking a little bit lost. But towards the end of that series, we saw more versus KC, and in the series today, he has been really consistent with his impact in these early games.
So we see red at the bottom of our screens with Sheo almost securing a 1k gold lead already. The lost chapter completed. This jungler is something that primarily you expect to be paired up alongside the Renekton. You know, that combo can be very effective, but so far he hasn't needed to play through topside. As you said, he's been primarily playing with Labrov to set him up for success. It's working out nicely. Now he is on the top side of the map. Yike is hovering around bot, wants to push in this wave, maybe set up for a dragon. But Adam securing 6, has the TP, but of course it's not unleashed yet, can only go to towers, so doesn't seem like anything too crazy is going to happen.
I think we're just going to trade on sides of the maps here, but not just going to be able to walk up a Sheo to clear out these void grubs, set yourself up nicely. You've got Nuke with pushing mid, pushing top, and it's actually been pretty consistent that we started to see these like triple pushing waves. Pretty like we got a lot yesterday in BDS versus KC, and BDS were able to use it well, and now here against G2 as well, just making things very simple for themselves. And I think the drafts from BDS have been really strong. Again, securing this Lucian Ashe basically guarantees you 2 pushy lanes, and when you're on red side, you guarantee the counter pick for top. So you're in a great spot for BDS with the way they've been setting up these drafts.
Definitely are. It's going to be hard for G2 if they fall too far behind in the early game to really execute in these fights. You saw previously, as we got later, you know, BDS were always just able to keep them at arm's length. It might be a similar story this time around. You had the Zyra being gone is crucial as we get in later, and Hansam obviously always going to just be able to ult in a team fight. But with Sheo about to hit level 6, BDS are free to split up the map. They don't necessarily have to play for the full-on 5v5 like we saw in the first Drake in our game 1. Can maybe just look to force some dives or make some cross maps.
I will say that, like, while BDS find themselves here in top 3 of Summer, it's important to remember that they limped their way here. Many people said that do you remember the series versus Mad? Where there were comments like, that was the strangest 3-0 to Mad that we've ever seen BDS win. You know?
Even Jackie said yesterday, he felt like he had 3-0'd BDS.
Yeah. And so far, they've been finding really good angles against G2 now. Let's see if we can get another smite.
Nice use of the wall. Hansama looking for an angle to set
He
up.
does.
Arrow going in, and again! Now Labrov finding the double knock up. Hansama again trying to find that angle to ult, but it's just not enough. Double kill for Sheo. Monster performance from the BDS jungler.
What is G2 doing? Another dragon being forced in this early game. Now Broken Blade goes for a 1v1.
Second proc.
He doesn't
Good
have a
bit of
kill threat.
damage.
But this is crazy to me. G2 forcing these early dragons, forcing these early fights. And against a Lucian plus this Taliyah, I am shocked that they are trying to force this because I feel like the results are obvious.
Yeah, it just feels like they have no respect for BDS's early game here, and BDS have been doing a fantastic job of finding these moments to punish. And again, credit to Labrov. He had a great game at the end of on the Rakan yesterday, and now in the Alistar. He's making it tough.
Bit of a lockdown there. Mikyx waiting as long as possible before he goes for the hook. Pulverize going in, but you can see G2 really trying to find the angle. Flash forward, ulti paired up. It means they will get the pick on the Alistar, but in the grand scheme of things, really just a consolation prize.
They needed something, though, because BDS were starting to run away with this game. Should give them a good amount of control on the spot side. More than likely get some plates, as Labrov will get to the bottom side to eventually defend, but you should be able to get at least a little bit more gold over towards Hansama, and maybe you can try and play off this MF, especially with that ultimate, but BDS are in a fantastic spot, especially after this fight.
Let's look back at this. So a nice Taliyah wall zones caps away. He ends up in a 1v1. The arrow connects onto the front line. And look at that two-man knockup from Labrov. Just like clean target selection, great execution. The fact that BDS could just isolate each of the G2 members, find a nice engage. Ice is in no danger. Nuke knows that he wins out in the 1v1 skirmish. And then Labrov keeps the other members busy. Just a great execution from BDS, a dragon secured, a healthy gold lead in the early game, and a lot of it, if not all of it, sitting on top of Sheo.
Yeah, very unhappy looking Yike at the end of that as well. It just looks like G2 have not been able to get on the same page at all, and now Arrow out finds knockcaps. Just about able to sidestep it, but again, I like the idea of BDS just fishing for these plays because there's no real objective up quite yet. 50 seconds until the next round of Void Grub, so see if you can find a pick, see if you can find a little bit extra for yourselves.
Now, of course, it's not all doom and gloom, right? When we think about the scaling element, G2 do have strong scaling and strong team fighting. Of course, there are certain things like this Ashe has been a great late game asset that BDS has been able to rely on, but you'd have to believe that as the game goes on, Renekton's going to run into the same problems that G2 did when they played against Zyra in game one, in Renekton's actual ability to close that gap. So as long as G2 can kind of stem the bleeding.
Mikyx bleeding a little bit, but trying to stem it desperately. His Cap's going to body block just to make sure that his support doesn't go down. Nuke might be happy, though. Just lay a little bit more damage down onto Cap's mid lane has been so frustrating. Labrov canceling that recall earlier, really hurting G2 in the mid lane.
I was about to say, if you fight BDS right now, you're in a terrible spot because look at all the items that have been picked up already. You've got the Eclipse already picked up. You've got that first item coming through for Sheo as well. You do not want to try and fight BDS right now. They are so incredibly strong, and that play in mid might have just secured them those 6 Void Grubs once more.
And really, 6 Void Grubs. Plus a 4-0-0 Taliyah has had this Luden's Companion completed for about 2 minutes now. Sheo is so wildly far ahead. There's really no hope of contesting, especially when Adam doing really well in the matchup individually too, right? Has the Eclipse finished. Broken Blade, as we get later, gets to give away items, gets to be that big tanky threat. But BDS controlling this early game beautifully, starting with them invading Yike, making sure Yike's impact was limited, transitioning that eventually into the Dragon as Yike finally going to steal a few camps back. But G2 getting proactive here on the bottom lane, stepping up, trying to make sure that Ice and Labrov cannot approach without more support.
Now, it's important to recognize that while BDS is having a good early game, their mid game is not flawless. We even saw it in game one, right? There are a number of times where G2 could just find really good fights because a few members would overextend. Sometimes they would, like the TP play into top lane from Nuke was very unfortunate. There are situations where they aren't able to always leverage the leads that they build into clean closeout games. So given that they are so close to the finals with an opportunity to fight against Fnatic, having that clean execution is going to be crucial against G2.
Knocking from Broken Blade.
Oh, very nice
more damage. I think just happy to trade ult for ult at this point.
That's my good old tank assassin priest, rogue, mage, ranger player.
What can't he do? other than push the lane. He can win he can do pretty good. If he gets all those cooldowns, he gets enough brittle procs, looks solid. But now Hansama gonna be the one in trouble. Immediate combo, and this is the problem when the Taliyah is so damn strong, but they don't quite finish it. A little bit of healing. He's got so much healing coming in. Hansama still standing. Bloodthirster first, baby, is not enough. Ice with a very casual backstep into the volley, and now it's Yike going in. The knockup gonna come through. Adam just barely able to slice and dice his way out to safety. With Broken Blade coming in as well. Base damage for Ornn isn't enough to try to finish the job to get a few of these. Shut down Sheo, taken off the map. 600 gold for the Broken Blade, and Ice just continuing to backstep, continuing to be a nuisance. It feels like the Dragon in game 1. I don't know how this happened, but it's a hot mess on the bottom side.
That was a 2-for-2 affair. Make it 3-for-2. Ice now looking to finish the job. Adam just needs to wait for his cooldowns.
There's a bloodlust on this team.
He doesn't have W up yet.
Waiting to tank the tower, trying to dice through. Ice gonna finish the kill. Not even gonna tank a single shot himself.
BDS are stepping up massively against G2. The dive didn't start off clean, but got significantly better as it went on. So BDS able to pick those up, and now Labrov in mid, trying to find Hansama, just trying to put a little bit of pressure on.
Trying to strut, but he's strutting right into the Taliyah. The minefield down. He tries to flash to be able to escape.
What a crazy sequence of events, but credit to Sheo. This game has been all about him and Labrov making moves on the map. They're able to get the flash out from Hansama. They're able to set up for 4 kills on the bot side of the map. And BDS, this level of proactivity against G2. Remember, the all-time record is 23-5, now 23-6 in G2's favor. BDS has never beaten G2 in a series ever before. And right now, they are performing out of their minds against one of their biggest hurdles.
Curse 1 broken yesterday, beating a team in a 5-game best of 5. And now, trying to see if they can bring that against G2 here as well.
And remember,
oh no, Labrov.
I'm gonna hold that thought. Labrov, the Hex Flash, Hansama, the headbutt pulled into the arrow, the cleanse not available, not enough life steal to come through. Easy pickup for BDS, and they break mid lane tower as well. 5K gold lead before we even hit the 15-minute mark.
I'm sorry, Hansama, did you enjoy moving? Because you are not going to be allowed to do that in this game. The chain CC is absolutely ruthless from BDS as they find themselves another pit.
Yeah, denied this trust by just CCing him out of oblivion and making sure he can never move. But again, now you're in a position where, yes, you lost top tower, but you're going to be very close to answering on boss. You've already got mid, and Rift Held is up and available. So it feels like BDS, realistically, with the control they have in this game, are going to start using this Rift Held not for outer turrets, but for inner.
And remember in the regular season, as dominant as G2 were in many games, a lot of the games weren't the best in the early game. But it's important to highlight that this is beyond even that. The most they ever really had in the regular season outside of 1 or 2 really catastrophic matches was a 1K or a 2K gold lead. And there was always this faith that come mid-game, they'd navigate, they'd move around the map, they'd outposition, they'd set themselves up for better fights. But that just has not happened thus far in the series. G2 better tools as we get later in the game, but cannot afford to fall any further behind. TP now to the bottom lane. Cap showing up, hoping just to get the objective bounty. But again, Labrov and Sheo, see champion, kill champion. Good news for Mikyx. Tanky enough to at least initially walk away, but the body block coming through from Labrov is clean, and there's just nothing they can do about it.
BDS are punishing G2 so well. They see the TP on bot, know they've got numbers advantage, and Labrov just waltzes on into their jungle and picks off Mikyx. Now there's Rift Herald, there goes top tower, and again, you're trading even on the map for BDS, but getting objectives and kills as well.
This all started with a level 1 invade from Sheo and his bot lane. Off the back of finding that kill onto Yike, denying those camps, they have snowballed this game beautifully. The arrow.
Oh, connecting. Caps now has to fight Yike. Should just be a dead man walking. There's so much damage. Broken Blade now trying to dissuade any further follow-up, and the layering. The CC is good. Yike able to turn it back, able to get the shutdown.
Nuke tried to TP in to save the rest of the play, but it was already G2 winning that out. It looked disastrous, but not enough fury on Adam to one-shot Yike. Means that Yike gets away thanks to the ultimate from Broken Blade.
Some small reprieve for G2 as Yike at the very least is able to get a shutdown. While the game is definitely still out of G2's control, if nothing else, you're seeing some of the potential late game problems that a champion like Renekton is going to run into when playing against a composition like this. But BDS continue to find these picks on sides. They're executing well on their map play. The objective control has been flawless so far, and they're going to unlock another tower in the bot lane, which means that should be all the ADA towers now gone. BDS should have much more control over the map, and they're going to be setting up for the dragon spawning at about a minute and a half.
Yeah, 6 scrubs, about to be soul point, Mountain Soul.
Void are still got Rift Herald as well.
This is tough. G2 losing every single objective on the map. Luckily have been able to grab those towers back at the very least, but problem for G2, yes, if they get a little bit more time, BDS misstep, they can absolutely punish, but BDS closer and closer to Soul, taking every objective means that the windows of opportunity for G2 are very quickly closing. Need more time to get items into their belt, to find that good setup, to leverage the power of, you know, this very, very strong ultimates on their composition.
But how do you get that setup when BDS are so good at controlling the game? Like you can see right now, they're just going to pick off caps.
Caps holding onto the Valkyrie, luckily the arrow not going to connect, but still, Renekton so damn strong. Adam going in, Caps forced to flash out. Labrov now coming from behind, waiting, biding his time. BDS dropped the Herald here.
Labrov didn't have Ignite, so couldn't just one-shot Caps off the back of that. Caps barely escaping, but now there's the Rift Herald. They're going to try and take it. BB is
doing
caressing the top tower.
Caressing?
And hoping he can get it down as the nuke is moving into that top end.
I mean, he was able to do a decent amount of damage at the very least, but nice play once again from BDS, really forcing the issue. They knew they needed to make something happen with this Herald, so they force the TP down bot. They get the flash out from Caps. Does cost Sheo his flash as well, but now they've set up all this beautiful vision ready for the dragon spawning in 20 seconds.
And this is what I was going to say, is that it's really difficult for G2 to get control of the game. Ice eliminates a mid-wave so easily thanks to the static shift. You can't really contest as Hans Sama. Opens up Sheo and Labrov to start moving around, so G2 try to collapse on mid as Ice gets control, but now they're caught as well.
Bit of poke to Mikyx, luckily can hook out to safety. And I think the downside of them going for the Zyra here is they've lost the Maokai, who gave them so much free vision control in the previous game. The Sapling's much more reliable than the plants. The plants from Zyra, an okay replacement, however. Hope that they can hold on to that, because Ice just continues to not only have better push, which means better base vision, but has access to the hawk shot. Now the arrow goes in. Easy target selection. Wall coming in as well. They're completely set up for Sheo, and Sheo is so damn powerful already. One going to be deleted. Hansama now trying to run away. Labrov, not enough damage. Broken Blade ready to try and turn this one back. Another kill coming through. Broken Blade at least getting one in return, but it'll only be Hansama standing. 19-20, too damn soon in the game for BDS to start the Baron, but they'll be happy with a third Drake.
His name is Ice, but it is you who is frozen solid. Another incredible arrow onto Yike, sets up the play. Look at the coordination, the wall comes through. Labrov with the engage, nuke on the only potential retreat avenue, and BDS to shut them down. Broken Blade is able to get something back, but BDS are dominating in game 2.
This is decimation. This was not the BDS we saw all playoffs long. This is confidence, that magic, that spark is back, and G2, they look dizzy as they try and set up. And again, it's BDS reading how G2 are trying to find these moments, to find these picks, try and find that G2 moment, but BDS are stopping them at every step.
I mean, we talked about it, right? Like, can you really afford to give Ice this champion again? Like, he just seems to only have good performances on it. The amount of vision control that they gain thanks to his E, the amount of pick potential they've been able to find off the back of his ultimate. Like, sure, I understand the idea behind taking the Zyra away because of the amount of zone control, but as simple of a skill as volley is, think about how difficult it is to really navigate your way around it. Just that volley of arrows that always slows you as well. It's a very low cooldown. I feel like the G2 don't have an effective answer to stop Ice from doing Ice things.
And it's rare in a best of 5 domestically to see G2 being the team who are scrambling to find answers in the draft phase. They take away the Rumble, they think Rumble, hey, that's going to be the problem. Now end the Zyra. Those are the two issues. That's what we had. The Rumble we weren't ready for, the Zyra was the thing. But then the Ashe is up. And now next game, if BDS are able to close this one out, now is it the Ashe that hits the drawing board, that gets taken out of the equation. Too rarely on the back foot in draft, but here they certainly are. Sheo going to go for the setup. That's a 2.5 item. Taliyah! One combo does it. Caps, though, gets a shutdown in the bottom lane. Nuke. Didn't see the context there, but good job, Caps.
Caps are able to get something back, but BDS still in a great position when you look at just setting up this vision. Looks like they might start to turn over towards this barn as well. They have a lot of damage with the Kraken Slayer and Sheo,
else,
but
they can get the
they're
TP
gonna look
out
for
from
the
Caps.
Yeah, they're baiting us.
Look in. TP now going. Broken Blade, does he want to start the fight? Knockup not going to connect into Ice, crucially. Forcing the ulti out. They're going to try to land everything that they can. The wall coming in from Sheo, but it looks like it's going to be too late. Ice taken out of the equation. Labrov now running. BDS caught out of position. G2. They use a lot of TPs. They use a lot of ultis, but they're able to find the picks. Sheo still up, but both carries still down. Labrov taking as much time as he possibly can as G2 now turn back to the Baron.
Yeah, they certainly can. They've got MF on her way over. Sheo is still alive. Yike needs to secure this smite to keep G2 alive in this game.
Adam stacking up Fury, does walk onto a ward. They know where the Renekton is. Dominus keeping him topped up. Hook from Mikyx, not going to connect. They're going to have to flip it. They're so far behind, they don't really have any other choice. 5K getting lower. Adam now trying to go in, the entire team peeling back, but Adam doing a decent amount of work, and the rest of BDS now ready to fall. Hook from Mikyx, not going to connect. They've been forced off of the objective, crucially.
Yike's too low, and with culling for Nuke, they would have been able to try and weave those bullets through, so they can't go for Baron. But great engage here from G2. You get the ultimate from Broken Blade, the ultimate from Mikyx to immediately keep Ice in check. And even though Labrov tries to get on towards Yike, Yike flashes over, so it's only Caps locked up, and there's no follow-up then for the rest of BDS.
The only downside for G2 is a lot of flashes were committed just to get on top of Ice, which meant that when Renekton dives in, there's very little to keep Yike alive, so he's forced to immediately retreat. Now, the good news for G2 is they don't lose Yike. The Baron nearly finishes him off, but it's not quite enough damage. Mikyx providing zone control to keep Nuke away means that G2 is able, off the back of that, to, I believe, find, what, 2-3 kills to, at the very least, keep them still alive in this game for now.
I think if Adam had actually connected with the second part of that dice, he might have been able to take down Yike with that help of the Baron, but either way, still, BDS keep G2 off. G2 still are 7,000 gold down, and a minute 20 until a potential Mountain Dragon. It feels very difficult for G2 to try and control both ends of the map right now.
But Caps may be the savior for G2. We've seen him carry games before. Finding that single kill onto Nuke does shift the momentum a little bit. You can see that third item being completed. Of course, it's a very tiny gold lead in the grand scheme of things, but Caps, when locked in, can be a dangerous threat. BDS can't afford to make mistakes in the mid-game because he is the type of player that will punish you and will use that tiny momentum to swing the game in his favor.
BDS this time around don't have an overwhelming number of engage and disengage tools. They've got something solid. Yes, Taliyah is wildly far ahead. Ice is powerful in the Ashe, but it's not the same as it was when they had the Zyra and the Ornn together. They need to make sure they pick their fights carefully. The gold lead gives them a huge advantage, but it won't allow them to just make sloppy mistakes. As G2 fighting for mid control, but it means conceding both of their side lanes.
And that's the big thing here. BDS, they can just forego mid tower. Actually, it looks like they might even try and fight it. TP's on both ends.
Wall coming in as well. Caps and Yike isolated to one side, the other three on the other. Adam debating if he can try to move in. Labrov trying to start the fight. Ulti coming out from Broken Blade. They're looking to interrupt. The lockdown from Mikyx is good. Three-man knockup on the backside. Labrov going to take it out before the fight even kicks off. Caps getting one. Caps on a rampage. Hansama getting another. G2 holding the line. BDS not quite perfect on the execution as Ice manages to trade back. Caps so damn aggressive, but he gets the double in melee range of the Renekton, and now it is just Ice and Sheo trying to hold on.
They're so low though. Barrier already used for Ice. Only flash remains for both of the BDS members, but G2, they know they've already won the fight. They can start to take the space from them.
Decent damage from Sheo. Ice retreating. They should just give this dragon up.
And they will be able to deny the soul. G2's first neutral objective of the game, and it's a big one. Let's look back at the fight. It's BDS to initiate. Remember that Labrov has already lost 50% of his HP, but it's a fight on two fronts. One side of G2 is dealing with the potential flank and the engage, but then look at Mikyx and Broken Blade. Chain CCing the backline, and then the MF ultimate as well. Huge to zone away the follow-up from the rest of BDS. And G2, who looked like they were getting collapsed, surprisingly held the line very well.
But it's because Labrov didn't know what to do. After that, he got a great engage, but then he tries to help Adam on one side of the fight, which means that there's nobody to then CC Hansama, who opens up with the bullet time. And with that, you're able to get so much damage down. So a little bit of, well, miscommunication between BDS. They weren't sure exactly how they wanted to approach the fight, and G2 punish.
And the first time we've seen BDS not have the perfect follow-up when there is that engage. The headbutt pulverize from Labrov, no one is immediately able to do damage, and when champions like Zyra and MF are allowed to survive that initial rotation and use their abilities, use the bullet time, use the Stranglethorns, fights turn very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at some of the scaling elements come into play now, right? Renekton is forced to find these flanks to really close that gap, but in that previous fight, Nautilus ultimate, Zyra ultimate, MF ultimate, zone control is kind of the name of the game for G2's composition. They just have a lot of abilities that take up a lot of space that BDS have to find a way to navigate around, and that's only going to get harder as the game continues, as G2 gets more itemization. And crucially, you look at that mid laner Caps, 5-1-3 now, has found himself with a 1.3k gold lead, and it all comes back to that question of, could that single kill in bot lane, where he could then TP up towards the top, they find themselves another pick, they then put pressure on the Baron, they find themselves another pick. These small windows where they swing the game ever so slightly back towards them could have mounted into putting BDS into a terrible position.
And it's very often the story of G2 in losing situations, that it is Caps on a side lane, doing something he maybe shouldn't be able to do, that brings the game back for this lineup. G2 set up first in the mid lane, and again, similar to what BDS or G2 experienced in the previous game, they're now able to do to BDS more or less. More range, more control, more threat. Still have to be careful, however. Sheo, incredibly powerful.
But this is where G2 are way more terrifying, because they're the ones that are able to decide when they want to pick the fights. They're just grouping as 5 and saying, look, in a straight up back to front, we probably win out, and we might get that answer right here. As you can already see Labrov taking a half and
chunked out. Guldborg can just back away and let the Warmogs heal him up. But again, it feels like we've just swapped roles. In the previous game, it was Mikyx stepping too far forward, getting caught out, losing cooldowns. This time around, it's Labrov. G2 very free for them to walk up and poke. They don't have to be scared. They can use those ultis to disengage.
Baron. This Taliyah has a death cap, and it's G2 that seems to be dictating the pace of the map right now.
Immediate ult from Adam. G2 can just back away. Ice off to the side. Nuke waiting here. They've got good information, trying to kick this one off. Wall coming in from Sheo to try and split the fight. Yike not going to be able to initially get involved, but Ice getting chunked over the wall. Crucially, the knockup manages to land. Where's the follow-up? Yike now going to look for it in the ball of time. There it is. Hansama getting one back, but Nuke wants to make the difference. Hansama crucially flashing out of range, and the Lucian's got nowhere left to go. One more Relentless Pursuit will not be enough. Ice down, Nuke running. Caps on the chase. One more auto, baby. That rapid fire cannon bringing the fight home for G2.
Now they can turn their attention back towards the Baron, or will they?
Over. Sheo does so much work here. Lots of damage now into Mikyx, but Yike now trying to follow up. One kill picked up. Sheo and Adam, the last two left standing. G2 scaling well into this game, holding on, and now wresting control from BDS.
G2 are barely able to hold on in the game, but they are pulling it back beautifully in these fights, finding those moments to get onto the key carries of BDS, and now they turn their attention over towards the Baron. This is going to be a free take with no one on BDS able to get close.
A few minor mistakes have now mounted into a situation where G2 are dictating these fights. Ice is doing his best to do damage, but he gets too close to the wall. Broken Blade with a nice knock up, the follow-up CC from the Nautilus, and then Hansama with the ultimate. Nuke tries to make a hero play, locking down Hansama, but an exchange of flashes means that Hans can get away to safety, and Nuke loses his life to Caps at the end of it. A very valiant attempt from BDS, but again, you're seeing some of the struggles of their composition, how much damage they're taking prior to the fight even starting, and then even finding effective damage. Like, look at Caps' HP, look at Yike's HP. They barely took anything.
And you can see BDS in the previous game, they were always able to kind of dictate when the fight started. They looked so much more coordinated. It was so much clearer for them what they wanted to do, but in the back half of that fight, it's very scattered. Sheo and Adam trying to jump in as a last-minute response. Nuke running away as Adam tries to clear the wave. It's a little bit chaotic. Can't afford to make those mistakes anymore, because what was once a massive gold lead, not so heavily in their favor, and as G2 with the Baron buff, the TP coming through. Adam gonna try and interrupt, will do so successfully, stopping Broken Blade from getting involved. Now he just needs to get away, and he can try to use a TP of his own. But Broken Blade powerful in the 1v1, just needs to make sure Renekton cannot get involved. It's a 4v4 here, and the mid lane, Nuke just getting chunked. Again, a single rapid fire cannon auto does so much work. As Ice getting pushed back, no sums. Blast Cone is going to be big, massive chunk onto Ice, but the retreat is coming through, and Broken Blade just winning the 1v1 versus Adam. I didn't get the entire context of the Renekton's getting cut down to the ball time. No, oh my God, the damage. G2 finding the angles in these fights, and BDS are crumbling.
G2 are finding their moments. I'm just playing with their food at this point. Managing to chase down Ice, they chase down Adam. You can already look at Yike on the Dragon. And now they're going to look to crack open this mid-turret as well.
We need to get the goal graph on our screens ASAP, because G2 have clawed themselves back from a colossal deficit. Tiny mistakes from BDS were capitalized on, and G2 have punished so effectively. An 8k gold deficit is now a gold lead at long last for G2.
Coordination in the fights has been key. was scattered. It was messy in game 1. Better tools now in game 2, and they are paying off. The deficit deleted. Advantage now theirs. 50 seconds left on the Baron. 5K Red Bull Baron power play. That is some impressive stuff.
And even though the gold is starting to even up or to get a lead for G2 in the top side, all those Ornn items coming through as well just means it's such a big gold lead for G2 and BDS. They just cannot deal with it at all. And G2, they've just been playing this 5v5. They've been like, look, we are stronger. Force the mid play and just make it so that then BDS have to try and fight to defend. But we're in such a good spot.
I mean, we think about it, right? BDS were finding picks and skirmishes across the map. Great dives, great play around the neutrals, but they always started off by finding a pick and then converting it into something else. Maybe even another pick, burning a summoner spell here and there. They were utilizing the mobility of the Taliyah and the pick potential of Ashe to punish G2 at every turn. But when the fight started, when we saw the full 5v5s, the 4v4s, G2 were finding angles and making it hard for Nuke to play the game, for BDS to really close that gap, and they were running into the same issues that G2 ran into in game 1.
And I think this is the problem now that we see with Taliyah. While she was the powerhouse in the early game, she was the champion that got so much of that gold lead for BDS. Sheo doesn't have a true ultimate and can't really walk into these fights. A single Zyra plant slowing him down, probably a death sentence, when Hans Sama is just waiting off to the side with the bullet time, ready to go. Still will fish for the walls, still trying to find that good angle for BDS to get the setup, but the 5-man core of G2 just about unbreakable. Colin gonna get used here. Broken Blade unconcerned. Arrow landing on the Caps is big, but the follow-up not quite there. Caps going gold, and Sheo now ready to follow up. They might be able to get one back, but instantly they turn on Sheo to deny the follow-up to ensure the Caps can survive. And once again, there is the bullet time. Adam off on the flank trying to delete the Corki as quick as he can. 1K gold shutdown. Adam holding on, but so many carries still standing. Triple kill for Hans Sama, looking to bring home a 4th. Adam getting cut down here. The extra healing, not enough. A quadra for Hans Sama in the final fight of the game as G2 strike back.
It looks good for BDS. One stumble on a mid play and G2 capitalize, immediately taking the game back and forcing us to a tied series.
Seeing the faces of G2 after some of the plays that were happening, I thought that their mentality was broken. I thought that they were going to be forced to figure out a solution to the draft problem, but they just needed to buy their time. They just needed to wait for that opportunity, and they're able to fight their way back, and huge credit to Caps. I really think that that single pick in a side lane was just such a monumental momentum shift in G2's favor.
Gave them the time they needed, the gold they needed to come back in that game. That's going to do it for us here in game 2. A quick break. When we return, game 3, we'll see who can move on to match point in this series between BDS and G2.
Hey, Law.
Yeah?
I need a bit of help with styling since I'm new here, and I was wondering if I could show you a couple of outfits.
Yeah, sure.
Amazing, thank you so much. I'll be right back. I'm a poro snack. Get it?
I don't know, man. No, not really.
I don't know, Law. It's hopeless.
No, it's gonna be fine. Here, let's have a break.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Back to the drawing board then, I guess.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey, shouldn't you be on stage right now?
Hey, you got a pick.
Tom Kent?
What? I was not expecting this.
And a crazy off-meta pick that secured you the win. How did you come up with it?
I just listened to my gut.